What you are about to hear is a true account, as far as my memory will allow. It may not be in order, but the actual events did happen at some point during the 1990s, my teenage years. Names will be changed to save friends and or enemies' embarrassment, but this is an anthology of sorts of my so-called safe and wholesome life being brought up in a Cornish village. Chapter 1. The Boy. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and probably a handful. Well, for my nan, anyway. The classic parents to split up situation, and here I was, living at my nan's house, shacked up in one bedroom with both my sister and my dad. And that's my earliest memories. I know of no time when my mother and father were together. I loved it though. My nan was my hero. It was proper. Real cooked meals, 3 times a day, no frozen supermarket crap at all. You would wake up to fresh blue top on the doorstep, hoping you would get the creamy top before any of the local birds flew down and nicked it. The house was situated in a terrace on the top of the steepest hill in the village. The first and last terrace of the village, in fact. Stunning views of the valley and fields that spread like a patchwork quilt into the distance in various shades of green. It's obviously a lie, but every day back then seemed glorious and sunny. It's funny how a memory serves someone. The other thing memory serves as a small child is how time seemed so slow. Days would last forever, and rarely would one find themselves bored. So, at the beginning of the terrace was a path that led to a garage. It was a perilous track to this garage. Anyone who would drive their car to it would be asking for damage. Behind the garage and alongside it was a path that led to the back of the terrace. And on the front side of the garage was a path that led to the front of the terrace. There was a small field between the garage and the first house. On the garage's near far corner, a huge tree was growing. Now, this was a proper tree. The sort you see in books or films where kids climb and sit on a big, thick branch. And it was our tree, the kids of the terrace. So, what do you do when you have your own tree? You run around it, using it as a place to hide and pop out to fire your invisible rifle when playing wars. You sit at its base, using the branches and the leaves to shelter you from the hard drops of rain in a downpour. But ultimately, you use it to climb. And that's exactly what we did. I knew that tree inside out. I knew how to shoot up it quickly to get to its highest branches. And one of these days back then, so long ago, I was sat up the tree. And my nan came to the end of the terrace and called over to me and my sister to come in to dinner. as there was this mad scramble to get down the tree. Now, I don't know why or who had put it there, but there was a metal ladder placed against the tree. It was one of those extendable ladders, like the sort a retro 80s window cleaner would use to squidgy your second floor windows. The sort that had metal hooks protruding out the sides to sit the second extractable ladder upon. While I was in a rush, for the first time in my tree climbing career, I lost my footing as I descended the tree, and I fell from about 3 branches up, only a few feet, and not in any normal circumstance a danger. But on this day the ladder was placed against the tree, and as I flew past the ladder, head into the floor, I caught my ear on the protruding hook. So, I naturally stood up at first and didn't think nothing of it. A few seconds later I could feel a soreness, and next thing my sister screamed. And then I could really feel it. I put my hand up to my ear. I could feel the wetness of my blood. It was everywhere, all down the side of my neck and on my shirt. The hook of the ladder had cut right up my earlobe, which was originally completely attached. Now, at least a quarter of it was flapping off the side of my head, and blood was pissing out everywhere. Of course, I screamed, started to cry, running as fast as I could to my nan. Now, you may be thinking, why have I started my tales here? This is just a common accident in most people's lives, probably. This is one of my earliest memories though. A significant feeling or emotion is always going to be a memory. This is also a danger, unforeseen in a quiet and idyllic place. And how my nan reacted was pure old school. This ear needed proper medical attention. Or at least it would do in this day and age. I'm talking an 8-hour wait in A&E, a tetanus shot and butterfly stitches. But that was a city trek, 15 miles away with a ferry trip in between. But it was okay, my nan was there, she'd know how to fix it. And she did. She opened a cupboard and took out a box of bog standard plasters, just a normal thin finger plaster. She washed my earlobe with water and then just stuck it back to the side of my head with the plaster. It was one of those fabric plasters that go a dark shade of burgundy when wet. In her eyes, that was it, ear fixed. I believed her too. And over the coming days, the plaster was changed numerous times. A scab formed that eventually turned into a line, as miraculously my ear reattached where it had ripped. For a couple of years, when fully healed, I had a white line where the tear was. But now, in my middle age, it's virtually invisible. So, even though I was living in this safe haven, clean air, less cars, less crime apparently, less danger, less of your own making, life actually was not all sweet, innocent, and cozy.